This Carson Wentz slander needs to end. I know you are... Let me make my case first.
Yeah, go for it.
Let me make my case. I was getting into an argument with my buddy Killican. You don't need to know. Killicam's all you need to know. He's a killer. But Carson Wentz gets it done. He's a guy who makes play. He's not a mid-tier... I'm basically saying Carson Wentz is elite. He's not one of these middle-tier guys who gets pulled along by having a solid team around him. Like a lot of the Baker Mayfields of the world, the Lamar Jacksons, those kind of guys who, I mean, in terms of Lamar Jackson, people go, oh, he's elite, he's this, he's that.
He's not an elite quarterback. He's an elite athlete.
He's an elite athlete, but
on a really good team.
I think Carson Wentz is an elite athlete, though. He's a physical runner. He's good in open field. He makes plays with an awful surrounding cast, basically no receivers, and the Boston baked bean running behind him. No slander on that guy. I think he really showed out, especially on that last drive. But Carson Wentz is a playmaker. Whenever... He's just the kind of guy... You know how we talk about Russell Wilson and the Seahawks play down to their competition? Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz is in that same lexicon in the sense that he'll make plays happen and make a game close. That's why he's so good. It's so good to go with the Eagles when they aren't the favorite in the spread.
Yeah.
Because they always make it close at the end. And it's like last night in our group chat, Cam was going, he was like, Carson Wentz is trash. How are you losing to the Giants? Blah, 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 blah. Overall, Philly and New York's rosters are probably about on par in terms of talent.
Yeah.
And it just came down to Carson Wentz making plays at the end of that game. And that first one, we're going to play it in the video here. So if you're only listening, check out the YouTube page. The channel's just called Highlight Hub, and the video version of the podcast will be on there. But Carson Wentz, that first one where he's rolling out, escapes pressure, and hits that cross-field throw. Whew. All right. It was a beautiful throw, and that's just a playmaker making a play when it needs to happen. Then later on, the game-winning touchdown was an absolute dime over Jabril Peppers down the sideline, and the baked bean made a beautiful catch.
Yep.
Great play, and that's what I mean. In terms of being elite, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter with the stat line. It's can you win close games like that and make plays when there's absolutely nothing there. And that's what I think is the separating point versus making the plays that you should make and then making the plays that you have no reason to be making, but you find it within yourself to make it.
Yeah, and I agree.
Let the court rest.
No, I agree. Carson Wentz is talented. He keeps the Eagles roster, like, they're decimated. They have like 13 guys on IR. Mm-hmm. He keeps them in games, for sure. But he also plays them out of a lot of games.
Right.
You know, and I understand, you know, he's a playmaker. He's trying to do a lot. He's trying to single-handedly win games. He turns the ball over so much. And he does have games where he just comes out so flat and plays horribly. It's just the inconsistency. I think he's super talented. And he had a 12-game stretch when the Eagles went to the Super Bowl before he got hurt, where people are like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
This is the next guy in the NFL.
He would have won MVP that year, 100%.
He's extremely talented. I'm not one of the people who are like, oh, the Eagles need to trade Carson Wentz.
Right.
He's still a franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
But he's wildly inconsistent. That's my issue with him.
Definitely.
You don't know which Carson Wentz is going to show up. The one who showed up last night, who scores 3 touchdowns, or the one who throws 1 touchdown, 3 picks, and completes, 45% of his passes.
Right, definitely. I mean, even in the season where he would have won MVP, but he tore his ACL, he was only throwing 60%, but still he's making plays. And I just think this is where my point of contention is when people go Carson Wentz is trash, Jalen Hurts should be starting, which I think is ridiculous.
No.
This is what I'm saying.
But they did use a 2nd-round pick on him.
They did, which
means
means
even the
something.
Eagles.
But I think that's more so not based on his performance, because if
An
that was the
insurance
case,
policy,
it's an insurance
like,
policy
if he gets
because of
hurt.
injuries. I think that's more of the deal, because I think he's played poorly enough in some games where you could make the argument, oh, it's time to get Jalen Hurts in here, but they do believe in him, right? And I just think the conversation would be completely different if he doesn't tear his ACL in 2017, wins MVP, wins that Super Bowl, Nick Foles doesn't win it for them. He's looked at as like a top 5 quarterback even now when he's having a bad year. Because if you look at Matt Ryan, it's like Matt Ryan has been wildly inconsistent throughout his career, but he's been, I think Carson Wentz is head and shoulders talent-wise above Carson Wentz, and he's had way better of a supporting cast throughout his career. He's had Tony Gonzalez, Roddy White.
You think Matt Ryan is head and shoulders talent-wise better than
No,
Carson
I'm
Wentz?
saying Carson Wentz is over Matt Ryan, but Matt Ryan is considered in a higher regard, and I think that's...
I think they're on par with each other. That's kind of where I rank Carson Wentz, is with the Matt Ryans, Matt Staffords. Mm-hmm. You know, that like second tier, like better than average, but not quite elite. Right. I don't consider Carson Wentz in that elite quarterback.
Okay, maybe elite is... I think he has the talent, the ability, and the leadership qualities of an elite quarterback.
Of course, yeah.
Versus a lot of guys who
He's got moxie. I'll give him that. He's got
moxie. We're sponsored by Moxies. Go get a steak sometime.
We're not sponsored.
But we're going to get them.